Hello everybody, it's Alexander Ermenkov, your ruling reality coach. Today's day 2, week 4 of ruling reality basics. Today we are going to speak about the topic of knowing and not doing. This is the personal development paradox. We usually know a lot. We go to a lot of webinars, seminars, we pay a lot of programs, we acquire so much knowledge for ourselves that we think this is enough. When we buy a personal development program, for example, we think that actually we extracted all the value. But all of us know that knowing and not doing is the same as not knowing. So let's start with the topic of knowing. But before this, let me tell you about the 4 quadrants of reality. We need to really understand life, we need to really comprehend reality in order to understand why we experience the same common things and then why these paradoxes actually exists. Right now I decided to make this video in the training room in my house, close to my daughter's winning rewards, some of them, and this is in order to impress you and to tell you that doing is possible to give you the rewards that you are expecting. The only thing is we need all to learn how to do. And why only knowing is not enough. Only having information is not enough. So let me tell you about these 4 quadrants. Reality is divided first in our internal reality, everything that is happening inside of us. Then we have the external reality, everything that we comprehend with our 5 senses, everything outside of us. Then the internal part of us is divided into 2 more quadrants. Internal, individual, everything that is inside of me, my personal things that are happening inside me. This is what is quadrant 1, my thoughts, my emotions, my perceptions, my everything that is inside of me, my imaginations, my personal things that nobody can see. Even my logic, my moods, all of this is inside of me. Nobody can see it externally. This is my personal reality. And for a lot of years I was dwelling in this internal individual. I liked it a lot. I liked to be alone with myself. But there are 4 quadrants of reality and you need to learn to be present in all of the 4 quadrants, because this is how you are made, and this is only part of your presence into the daily reality. The second individual part of reality is the so-called collective individual. When me as a person have my own thoughts, beliefs, logic and so on, you as a person have your own thoughts, feelings, moods, logic and so on. Both of us, all of the humanity, have the so-called collective individual. This is something not seen. We call it culture, we call it common values, we call it common language, we call it common knowledge, we call it science, we call it religion. Everything which humanity has gathered from the first moment it was placed into reality till today, we call the collective individual. All the stories you have ever heard, everything that came into your mind and started to feeding you in order to understand and to start perceiving reality and to understand why this object, for example, your bed, what is your bed, how it's used, and so on. You think it's only an object, but behind your bed there is much more layers. Another layer of your bed is that this is the place of relaxation, and so on and so on. This is your intimate place. This is your place of security. This is your place where your dreams are happening, where your imaginations are happening. So in one material object there are much more collective individual that brings meaning, additional meaning outside of the material part into this object. So then if we have this collective individual now in 21st century, our collective individual is different than the collective individual that the people had in the 14th century, that the people had 2000 years ago. Well, there are a lot of commonalities, of course, because we are all humans, but the objects are different that we are using today than they were using then, for example. And now in the 22nd century we have all the history, we have much bigger collective individual, much more broader worldviews. This is everything we have accessible and we can tap into on a daily basis. Then we have the so-called external part. The first part is the so-called external collective. The external collective is quadrant number 4. This is where it is placed all the nature, everything in the material world that was here even before us, everything that we call the universe in the physical matter reality, meaning is the collective external, everything we share together. Then there is one more part of the collective external, and this is everything that we as human beings have already built upon what nature has created. And this is the collective external, our civilization, everything that we as human beings have been able to create till today. Nobody can tell you exactly what humans are possible to create in 2000 years or 200 years. And then the fourth quadrant is the external individual. The internal individual are my imaginations, my thoughts, my feelings, everything that is happening inside of me. But then the outer part of me, the expression of me through which you comprehend who am I, is my body. All the biochemical reactions, everything that is interconnecting my inner invisible being with the external physical matter reality is called individual external. So the body is part of this individual external. This is something that only me uniquely have. That is where health is in your well-being in reality. So when we speak about your individual health, it is everything that is connecting your inner internal individual and its interaction with your external individual. If you don't care about your body, then this quadrant 2 external individual is going to actually create problems to your internal individual. So health is in quadrant number 2, external individual, everything that is regarding my health. In the collective individual, we also have this common health, where we know that all of us need to keep health standards in order to live together as external individual healthy life. So in order our bodies to be healthy between each other in interaction, we need also to have this healthy existence between us. So the 4 quadrants are internal individual, everything that is in your inner world; external individual, the expression of your inner world through your body. You see, the expression of my face, the expression of my body, the health, vibrancy and energy that I'm expressing on a daily level during my daily reality is actually this quadrant to the external individual. Through the external individual, you are actually observing me right now. The third part is the collective individual. Where are my personal values, my culture, my language, my knowledge? Through my words, I'm actually tapping in this quadrant number 3, collective individual, and when I speak now with you, you understand me, because even if we speak different languages, we are giving the same meaning to the same labels we have put for different things in order to understand each other. So if we have the same definitions about everything, then we communicate together much more easier, and that's why in the 22nd century it's so easy to communicate between each other. It doesn't matter if we speak different languages or have different cultures. Little by little, this collective individual quadrant is becoming so generic, so common for all of us around the world. We have understood and we are coming closer and closer to common values. Of course, there are a lot of things that can be put here and influenced in the collective individuals. Some individuals are trying to make this collective individual to look more and more like them. Other individuals are trying to directly change this. Some are fighting for this collective individual. There are think tanks created. There are a lot of NGO created. They are playing in our collective individual. And then when you listen to the news, they're playing in this quadrant number 3, collective individual. When you are influenced from outside, the influence is coming through this collective individual, through the books, through the videos, through the interaction through Facebook, through the commercials, and so on and so on. When you watch a movie, quadrant number 3, collective individual, placing values directly inside of you through stories, programming your subconsciousness is working. So we need to comprehend that this is so, and just to learn how later to work with all these 4 quadrants. And why quadrant number 4, external collective, is important. In the external collective, it's actually your money, your land, your properties, everything that you have on this earth. And here is everything that we are hoping to have in like material possession. Usually people think that wealth is only in quadrant number 4. And since some of us know that this is not all wealth is all about, then we say, no, I'm going to put a cross on quadrant number 4. I will never be rich, Alex. I don't want to go in this direction. I don't like material things. I want to go and stay only in quadrant 1. I want all my life to be only the internal experience. I need to experience life. I need to gather awareness, but only in quadrant number 1. Yes, it is possible, but if you want to be a really balanced being, you need to work in all 4 quadrants of reality, and to understand that when you open your eyes, everything in your physical matter reality is actually 100% interacting and in balance with what you are in your internal individual. For example, in the moment you don't have a lot of money, you live in a rented house. Yes, it is so, your collective external part is like this, because even in quadrant number 1, your internal individual, you have beliefs, you are actually generating through your internal individual, and are saying in quadrant number 4, yes, Alex, I don't want to have a lot of external things. They are not important for me, and actually it is okay. You can live a very humble life. You can almost live with almost nothing, and you can be much more happy than 99% of humanity. It doesn't matter. The important thing now is, after we understood about these 4 quadrants, to understand where knowledge is, and why only if we as human beings are fed with information and knowledge, as I'm just telling you now about this knowledge, it's not enough. Because knowledge is in quadrant number 3. It can stay there. Well, Alex, now I know this. I now have this information. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. I'm going to continue to live as I always lived. I'm going to know a lot of things, and I will almost do nothing in my life. I'm not going to implement anything of what you are telling me today in my personal reality, because this is the way I decide to live. Of course, it's 100% possible, but if you want to start using knowledge, to learn how knowledge and information is one thing, then you need to understand the interaction between quadrant number 3 and quadrant number 1 is called actually understanding, translating knowledge from quadrant number 3 in quadrant number 1 inside of you is actually, now I understand it. Now I realize what he's talking to me about. It's not only about knowing, it's about personal experience inside of me. I need to imagine it. I need to understand how I'm moving into reality. Why reality is created like this? Well, this is still not enough. Now you need to go into another interaction, the interaction between quadrant number 1 and quadrant number 2, your external individual. Does your body feel now the knowledge? Do you actually want now to express this knowledge with the outside reality? Can you feel this knowledge in your body? Oh, your body is a very active part in doing. Have you noticed this? You cannot do anything without your body willing to participate. So, merge quadrant number 1 and quadrant 2 and start moving your body and go into this external individual quadrant and start feeling with every molecule inside of you the knowledge. Then this understanding has actually started to materialize and coming into the collective external, and now when I see you moving to reality, I start seeing something called know-how, wisdom. Now you start to understand the processes behind the knowledge, because knowledge is static. But when it goes through the human being, it becomes processes. And when processes are creating, then wisdom is coming. You can repeat the same things once and again, and you can create the same results. So then what is happening? Wisdom is only coming to those who are actually applying the knowledge they understood on a daily basis. It doesn't mean that you will be perfect from day number one, but you start trying, you fail a little bit. Well, I tested, it's working, Alex, but maybe 5% in a month. Yeah? Continue working. That's why I'm in the fitness room, because exercising, daily practicing the same things is what makes knowledge applied on a daily basis becoming skills, becoming wisdom. Then, long term, you are understanding what is the meaning of this paradox, knowing and not doing. The other thing that I want to speak about now is when we decide to do something or to create a shift, people start giving up or too early, or they decide to delay it and they are starting too late. Anyhow, the big problem with the giving up is the fear that we are not going to succeed. Failure is a good word. It exists because failure and success are the two opposites of the paradox, and when we are between failure and success, we are actually moving forward, we are not giving up. And if you learn how to manage this process of not being afraid that you are going to give up, this is good. Let me give you now one example how I'm practicing in my daily reality and how I'm challenging myself in order to work with this failure and success and not giving up. For example, I decided almost 10 days ago that I'm going to make 40-day fasting only on water. And I said, well, maybe I'm not going to tell anybody about this because I'm not sure if I'm going to succeed, or if I'm going to tell everybody about this, then maybe it will create so much importance in my brain that I'm not going to succeed. So anyhow, because I know this principle that failing and giving up is not a problem. Do you see all these rewards of my daughter? Did you know that these are not more than 20 or 30 rewards? Actually, during her experience as an AP fencer, she has more than 500 or close to 1,000 failures in order to have only 30 rewards. You see, if you think that if you fail once, this is it, then you don't understand the principle of daily practicing in reality. This is the only way you can become a champion and a master of your reality. Daily failures is a good thing if you have the correct perception. So, after I decided to start this fasting, what happened? I was on a day 3, close to the day 4, and then I failed. I ate. Well, immediately I have two options, or to blame myself, or to say that I'm not worthy, or to say, well, Alex, you see all these things that you are speaking about, you are challenging yourself, you are not such a hero. You actually cannot master your reality. Of course, I am a human being as you are, and I'm failing on a daily basis, but it doesn't mean that I cannot transmutate this failure into future successes. How I did it? Actually, what I started to do is I said, okay, 3 days, I succeeded. I failed one day, but I will not give up. I will continue till I make 40 days of fasting. So I'm continuing. Now I made 2 or 3 more days, then I failed again, then I'm doing 1 or 2 more days, I fail again, now I'm on day number 7. I failed yesterday, but I'm continuing, not giving up. What I'm actually learning now in this learning curve of failures through challenging myself, maybe one day I'm going to have these big cup rewards where I'm going to be able to make real 40 days without stopping. But today I'm trying. I have this goal. I'm failing. I'm not giving up. I'm trying. I'm continuing. So I have created this process of not giving up to anything that is looking like impossible for me. In this way, I start to prepare my body, I start to prepare my reality, and I start to move into reality as a person who is training success on a daily basis. So everything in life is fitness-minded reality. Nothing happens for one day and nothing happens with one try. All of us know how many trials were necessary in order light to be created. So let's continue, let's never give up, let's not fear failure. Then the other thing is why people who authentically decide to do something, they don't give up, but they can fail many times and still continue. I told it with my story. I didn't do it because somebody asked me to do it. I didn't do it because I said I will show all the world that I'm a big hero. No, I have done this authentically. I know all my weaknesses. Do you know that the biggest thing in this life is not to concentrate only on your strengths, but very well to know all your weaknesses, but also to learn how to use them. Because you know this paradox that when you are weak, actually then you are not trusting yourself, and then you can rely on the processes that already exist, and then you actually are becoming stronger because now you are trusting on what is already existing and prepared for you. So commitment is easy when passion is present, but not passion to see the end result. If you focus only on the end result, then you are going to transmutate failures into a bad, regretful situation where you say, well, this is a bad thing. I knew it. I knew that I'm a failure. And you can go another cycle down, 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 and you project this external failure on yourself. And the reality is that you are a limitless being living in this limitation that the external reality is presenting for you, and it is not a bad thing. We need to learn how to express more and more of our limitless being. This is what actually success is. If you look around, successful people are doing things that are so natural for them, so authentic for them, but for all the others, they look like, wow, this is so great. But if you look from the perspective of quadrant number 1 of this person, this is a natural experience for him. So, failure and success are two very beautiful things to start working with. Ruling reality works if you do all the processes simultaneously. This is very important. This is something that I realized maybe 1 year ago. It is the so-called complexity paradox. I haven't understood life, you haven't understood life, though life is so simple. And do you know why? Because life is very simple, but also very complex, because there are maybe around 1,000 or millions of parameters that are working together, and all of you who have learned in normal universities and schools, you know that everywhere it is put, every experiment, everything is made in perfect environment. Economical theories are made in perfect environment if all the other parameters are not changing and we're just changing one parameter. When in life, if you change only one parameter, it's not enough. If you change 10 parameters, it's not enough. Well, Alex, now you're telling me that actually I cannot change anything from myself. Yes, you can't, but you need then to understand the power of one. You are created in such a way that you can put your focus only on one thing. Then, if you do only one single thing today, the only issue is to do it authentically. It is changing all these thousands of parameters of the external reality. Everything starts moving. Yes, it's complex. It's not only this or that, but your responsibility is only your action that you are expressing to be really authentic, and only this. Then complexity becomes very simplistic. You can observe it, you can admire it, you can wonder how many things were shifting and changing in order reality to be aligned with your inner being. This only shows you how precious you are for reality, how the things that you are influencing and generating from the inside out are actually moving hundreds of thousands of parameters in order reality to be aligned with who you are. So, life is not a magic step or formula to follow, but embracing your authentic part of the complex ecosystem of reality. Now life becomes much more interesting, much more entertaining. Yes, you, the small dot one of I don't know how many billions, your daily move into this reality is affecting all the complex ecosystem in reality in all the 4 quadrants. Everything you do on a daily basis is affecting all the 4 quadrants. So, you don't need to fear complexity, but you need to enjoy simplicity and to start implementing. Then, knowing is not going to overwhelm you and to stop making you do even one movement, because now you know, well, I learned maybe today only 1% of what Alex is telling, but I'm going to try it. This is immediately starting to move your reality. So, learn this. Humble, small steps are creating big, huge impacts into the complex ecosystem of life. Thank you for watching today with me. Start implementing it into your daily reality. Never give up. Be authentic. Learn to know. Not only to enjoy knowledge, but to enjoy doing, to enjoy this implementation of knowledge into your personal reality. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.